Attention! Attention, marionettes, if I could just have your attention for just a moment, I would like to tell you my thoughts about Fallout 76. If I could just have a moment of your time to explain why I think that despite it being a multiplayer game, in fact, in favor of it being a multiplayer game and a live service game, it could actually be quite a grand and fulfilling experience. Now, I know a lot of you are willing to just write it off because it is a live service experience, because of the companies that have given it such a bad rep. Well, yes, games that are live service or multiplayer focused are open to much more abuse than your average single player title. But allow me to explain how a live service title can actually be done well if not given so much abuse and given more consumer friendly options. EA likes to focus a lot of time and effort on their sports titles, and they make tons of money through microtransactions on annual release titles. Now, let's say they remove the annual releases and instead it's just one game. One game that keeps updating its rosters, every once in a while getting that facelift without having to pay $60 a year. No servers being removed from a previous version of a game because there is no previous version, it is only one. And it is continually supported by those fanatics that keep on dropping mega coin for these titles. And with that, they wouldn't have to worry about releasing a game with a cover that is outdated in mere weeks because the player on it had switched teams. In this way, a live service experience, it is actually a live service. It is ongoing. It is always changing. It is always adapting. And it is never re-released. Now, doesn't that sound like something good if you are a sports fan? Doesn't that sound like something that is actually worth investing for the passionate fans of sports? Now, moving back to 76, yes, Fallout and Elder Scrolls are primarily and solely single-player experiences. And yes, Elder Scrolls Online, despite its success, is a completely different entity than Elder Scrolls single-player games. Different developer, different playstyle, different feel, different passion, different atmosphere, different types of immersion. I played it, and I did not like it. But that does not mean the same will be with 76 because, ta-da, it is not being made by ZeniMax Studios. It is not being made by a studio that has never made a game before. It is being made by the heart and soul creators of the current Fallout games. Yes, New Vegas is considered one of the best entries of the recent titles. But, sadly, Obsidian is busy. For now, we have 76. It is amazing to me how all of you can just write it off and say that it won't be worth it, that it will ruin this series, when, oh, surprise, you've all been asking for all my Fallout for fucking years! And also, the developers have expressed deeply that they've wanted to make a Fallout multiplayer game for years as well. And that is not a bad thing. It just happened to be announced during the time that live service games and multiplayer experiences have been given such a bad light lately. But fret not. If you actually watch some extensive footage on this game, you might find that it could actually be worth your time. But here is the beauty of it. If you don't think it's worth your time, you can simply just not buy or play it. You can simply move past it. Because, unlike what they were initially going to do by making the game as an attached multiplayer to Fallout 4, they chose to make it its own thing, separate from the single player, separate from that focus you want so much. No, of course, playing the game solo will not be the same as playing Fallout 4 or any of the other single-player experiences. But again, you can just not play it. So take a step back and actually look at what this game is and see that it's not a bad thing, that it's not taking away the chances of a future single-player Fallout game. Elder Scrolls Online did not stop Bethesda Game Studios from developing Elder Scrolls 6. It is now announced, as I knew it would be, and I'm pretty sure that the reason why it's taking so long is because they are working on a new engine, because everyone knows that the creation engine has simply lost its steam. Even Bethesda knows this. So I am pretty damn sure, not certain, but pretty damn sure, that they are working hard on a new engine for future single-player games. Again, not certain, but 99.98% damn killing power certain that they are working on a new engine. So moving on, I think it's time to wrap this up and understand that hype goes too far, but so does outrage. Work in the middle. Learn to adapt to indifferences and accept what you may not like and move on. Accept that others like what you don't like, that you like what others don't like, and that you don't have to like every single thing from a franchise that you love. Or did you forget about Fallout Brotherhood of Steel?